Hi everybody, it's me, Oberon, and I'm back again with my outlook on the emotional exchanges, my weekly tarot forecast on all things emotional and vibrational concerning matters of the heart or matters of our feelings, the ups and downs. So this is a reading that comes to you on Fridays on our YouTube channel. This reading is good for today, Friday, July 24th, till next Thursday, July 30th. So I hope you get something out of it. We do read for each of the signs through their elemental association. So we read for the air signs, the fire signs, and so on and so forth. Maybe if your sun sign doesn't resonate to you, you might want to check out your moon sign or your rising sign if you know those. So let's get started right away. And we're going to start off with our air signs. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And we're going to pull a word of the week for them. And this word of the week is kind of like a focus word or a key word. And it may be the word that can kind of give them a little more information on things to do, a strategy, a mantra, that kind of thing. So we have pulled our word of the week for the air signs. It's generosity. Keep this in mind that we should be generous with our emotions and with our support of other people's emotions in this week ahead. You never know what a kind word can do for somebody, uplift spirits. You just name it. It's really, vital. So let's do our reading now. We're going to pull our 3 cards for the air signs. Whoops. Having a little bit of dropsy here today. Sorry about that. Give them an extra shuffle there. And our cut, and as you have probably noticed, I'm doing it in the regular TFT studio, not in our esoteric library. Be that as it may. So our first card is the Queen of Wands. Put that right there. And the second card is the Queen of Cups. Oh, that does sound like an emotional thing there. And then our third card is the 3 of Discs. That's upright. The other 2 queens were both reversed. So reverse queens usually are not their best qualities at hand. But the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups, I think, are not so much people maybe in your lives, but trends or emotions or aspects within yourself this week. You're going to feel really unbalanced emotionally. You're going to feel kind of over the edge emotionally. There's going to be a lot of things going on that will have you coming and going one way or the other. Some of that maybe is represented by the 3 of Discs. I'm thinking that some of us really have to put on another hat this week, and maybe we're applying that generosity to those in our charge or those who we have a feel for, who maybe are more artists or craftspersons or persons who are learning new skills and maybe need all the support they can get. And I'm thinking there's a little bit of a conflict here, because with some of this, maybe that Queen of Wands is telling me that it's kind of like a twofold thing here. Like you maybe are grooming somebody to take over for you. And I don't know if this falls into the employment arena, but I'm thinking like maybe some of us have mixed feelings about what we're doing here, because we're kind of working with persons who maybe are taking over some importance in our lives. And Wands almost always relates to business things, enterprise, working, things like that. It's not specifically about money so much as the actual career and the enterprise associated with that. So I'm just wondering if there are some changes coming there, and we're learning things that are going on that maybe we're going to have to be charitable about all the changes coming there too. And some of this is really going to hit certain parts of the emotionality really strongly. We may find, especially I think because air signs tend to live in their heads, they tend to be really thoughtful and they really process a lot. And maybe we're going to be consumed with kind of competing emotions that are making us wonder if we're really getting carried away, if we're suspecting strong possibilities that we don't like, like we think that, convenience is resolving these matters. So it looks to be a fairly heady experience for the air signs. I am not exactly sure what to make of all that, because I do feel there's so much challenging with these reversed queens here, and yet at the same time I sort of feel there's a need for you to really be supportive and sponsoring with other people. So it looks really weird, it does. It just looks kind of weird there. So we're going to move on to our fire signs now. Fire signs. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And they tend to be a little bit more on the impulsive side, but direct, magnanimous, inquisitive, things like that. So they have a word of the week. And their word of the week is exchange. Exchange. And I think the idea with exchange goes to the heart of what our elders, our ancients did when there was not necessarily the same kind of monetary, financial system. They traded things. They gave equal value. They exchanged for things that they wanted that maybe they felt they had something that was just as valuable. So I'm thinking that's what that's talking about with the fire signs, is that you will have these opportunities to give value because you will also receive value. And of course, this must pertain to the emotional spectrum. So you may want to be watching for these kind of opportunities where you will be able to offer things that are insightful and knowledgeable and maybe necessary for certain people. And in return, there will be some sort of reward, like maybe people will be able to offer you something that helps you understand that situation and maybe gives you a window into their world, or maybe it's an opportunity that you may be able to use for something. There's so many possibilities, I probably couldn't really imagine them all. But you know what? It's probably there, so check it out. So let's get into our reading now. Hoping that I don't have more dropsy here. Not sure where I left them there. Dropping cards during a live, or recorded tarot reading is just not convenient. So what's up with the fire signs? And your first card is Temperance, reversed. And your second card is another queen, the Queen of Discs, or Stones or Pentacles. And like the two queens in our air signs reading, this one is reversed. And it's a good time to mention that court cards can mean people in your lives, but it's possibly more likely they mean situations or other qualities or capabilities. And then you have a Three of Wands, and that's reversed. So what's up with that? Well, Temperance says there are situations around us maybe where we're not really feeling our balancedness. Maybe we are called upon to act in certain ways that we feel are not good for us. we're maybe running a little bit lazier than normal. We're maybe running a little bit sterner than normal. Maybe we're just in general not our usual selves. We're a little bit over the edge, as I said earlier. And that Queen of Discs reverse seems to indicate that we're also maybe a little bit out of touch with our sense of a healing heart. And I'm thinking these things can't exist in a vacuum. They're just probably related, because there's that Three of Wands reversed. And the Three of Wands, I'm thinking, is saying that we've had some bad news that affected us emotionally this week. We may have felt some opportunities we were really thinking were made. The Queen of Coins or Pentacles, Discs, creative abilities, and usually can just earth mother everything they touch. But I'm thinking the Three of Wands is showing us that some opportunities have missed us. They may have slipped away. It may have been the kind of thing where if we were waiting for news about something, maybe it was a job or an investment or a situation of networking, we missed that boat. We didn't get that. And there's going to be a little bit of trying to overcompensate. I think that's where the Exchange card comes in over there, that we're going to try to see if we can make this up somehow, offer other things. I'm not thinking it's going to work. So there's going to be a little bit of testiness with the fire signs, because I'm thinking they missed an opportunity that they probably didn't want to, and it may not likely come back again easily. You're going to be kicking yourselves a little bit this week over that. I think you should just try to let the wheels balance themselves. Let yourself feel some of these emotions, and then maybe try to figure out a way to do something in a different situation, a different context. Like this thing happens and then you're like, well, I haven't talked to Robin in a while, so I'm going to call Robin up and maybe we'll have a safe social distance lunch or get together, because it'll take me out of that situation. In other words, like, find ways to take yourself out of the situation and reset your balance, your moderation, your sense of temperance. This too shall pass. It's just a week or so. Think of what you can do to do other work and build in the future with that. So that's what we have with the fire signs. So we're going to move on now. Okay, and Sassy has joined us, so now we're going to do the water signs. And water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And what is their word of the week? Let's find out. And their word of the week is the laborer. So I think that water signs are going to find that they have to work hard on producing, that they have to give good service to whoever they owe that to, and that they have to be mindful of what the value of what they give is, because that is how they will be judged in return, to give back to them what they have earned. So think about that from that emotional labor level, that basically what we are able to give freely and from our true hearts will be respected if it is honest, if it can be perceived that way. So let's do the reading now. Alrighty, water signs. And you have the upright Three of Discs. And you have the reversed Eight of Discs. And then you have an upright Prince of Swords. So what does that mean? Well, I think that these two cards are corollary, the Three and the Eight of Discs, and being reversed is not necessarily a good thing here. On the one hand, I think somebody wants you to feel or you yourself feel like you have value and you want to give value to others who maybe are involved in corollary efforts with you. But at the same time, you may be looking at somebody in particular who is not meeting your standard, and I'm thinking of that laborer card over there too. I'm wondering if you're going to really have to work harder to mentor somebody that you may be working with on something. I don't know. I don't feel that this is a partnership. I sort of feel that this is more like something where you have a little bit more authority over the other person. And I sort of think that that's signified with the Prince of Swords. Is they're a young person perhaps, or they're young in spirit, and they have valuable qualities. They have some qualities. They have determination, and they know how to move energy and stuff like that. But they're still like a diamond in the rough. And I'm thinking that's what the labor card is you have to walk a little gently, but you have to also find that measure of support that's critical but constructive, constructive criticism, and really figure out how you can help mold this person and not overly inflate them, because in this kind of situation, these days, I mean, we've all heard of the two-praised child, somebody that gets the 17th prize for competing or something like that. We're not valuing true innovation or true determination as much as maybe just trying to equal the board there. And so I'm thinking you're drawn to this next week of basically not settling for equal the board, looking for that true standout and maybe encouraging that. And maybe it's in yourself. Maybe you just have to figure out how to spotlight yourself and work to your best, accentuate yourself, and figure out what you need to do to get over your bad uses, get over the mistakes you're making, and really be that more strident and determined person. Because at the heart of it, you really do want to give good work. You want to be a good worker. So that's what I have for the water signs. So now we're going to move on to our last one. And I'm sorry if that was a little heavy. I really am. This stuff is important to me. Earth signs. And earth signs have a word of the week. Their word of the week. Oh dear. Consummation. Well, that's probably pretty nice for an emotional-based reading here. Consummation could mean really a completion of a process where one has absorbed, has taken in the vital aspects of whatever that is that they need to have, that some ideals, qualities, essences have met and have become within each other. They have embedded within each other. So, it kind of fills me with chills. I don't think I've ever had this word of the week before, ever. So let's see what else is going on with our guys here, the earth signs. And I don't even know if I said it, but earth signs are, of course, Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. So this is for you. Cards are flipping around. Just let me get through this reading. And your first card is the King of Cups, and that's upright. And your second card is the Devil, and that's reversed. And then your third card is the reversed Ace of Wands, which I think came up earlier. And so these are fairly dynamic cards for the earth signs. And I think what that we are going to have to work with our word of the week and with all of our emotional energies that we do have. And that's not always easy for an earth sign. They're grounded, but they don't always translate what they feel emotionally in a proper way, perhaps. I have a lot of earth in my chart, so I think I can say that. But with the King of Cups, I'm thinking you are being called upon to be your kindest and most benevolent self possible. And I think that's mostly because maybe you are overcompensating for realizing that you don't always act in your best light, let alone others who maybe you are responsible for. And that I'm thinking that you are overcompensating. That Ace of Cups says you're being kinder than normal because maybe you have not always been your best self in recent times, and that maybe you have some things you feel you need to make up for. And some of them could have been you went places you shouldn't have. You might have, gave in to certain temptations that you shouldn't have. They may have been emotional nature. They may have been something else. But they were things that maybe you knew you really were crossing some sort of line. And now you feel like you have to atone for that. But I'm wondering if this atonement will present some problems of its own, really, because it may just open up some other areas where there's a sense of introspection that may come your way, and that you may actually find that you're going to feel you've applied things too harshly. Even though you're trying to be kind, something doesn't work out. Maybe something is a little bit heavy-handed. And I'm wondering if they all relate together too, that it's the lingering thing about what your addiction is or what your obsession was, and that maybe you're wondering if you can really get around it. You have to be honest. You have to really want to be better and to be able to show that to people. So I'm thinking this is a bit of what's going on there. The consummation is that there is an opportunity coming to you to show whoever felt they were hurt or was involved in that matter that you can rededicate. And so I think that is positive coming from that part of you. You just have to remember that really when you look within yourself, that is really what you want, that you're not necessarily possibly fooling yourself thinking that you want that, but that really you really are making other decisions, and then you're just sort of lying to yourself. So be honest with yourself, earth signs. And that's what I have for the earth signs. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Tune in next week and we'll see what's going on emotionally. And also check out some of the other content on our YouTube channel. So thank you.